Hi, my name is Ann Nash. I'm the Vice President of Behavioral Health for ViaQuest Psychiatric and Behavioral Solutions. And you are joining the VPBS Supervisor Orientation Training. This is the first of several in our series for new supervisors. And so let me start there. I just want to say welcome and I want to say congratulations to many of you that have just been promoted or recently hired into a supervisory position. I'm excited to give you this training, and more importantly, I'm really excited to have you a part of the team and looking forward to the great skills and experience you bring to our team to continue to change the lives of others. So in this training, I'm going to be sharing a slideshow that I'll go through some of the objectives and things like that. So let me get to that. All right. So basically, the objectives for this short training is first thing we're going to do is go through and review the ViaQuest leadership expectations. You will all get this handout if you haven't already. It's an amazing handout to help guide you through, what is expected of you as a leader at ViaQuest, an introduction to our training series, like I mentioned, and then the review of the new supervisor verification checklist. So I'm sorry, one thing I should add is that after this training, you will be doing a quiz. You should be in Paycor right now. You'll be doing a quiz after you complete that. So some of the handouts. So this is going to be that new supervisor verification checklist. You'll see at the top, that's what it says. There's the first part of it, and then it goes on the very bottom of it is on this next page. But when you go through this, as you are, you're going through your series yourself for being a new supervisor. And then eventually, if you train other supervisors, this is the same checklist that we use. It goes through step by step all the things that you need to review or the training you need to complete as you're going through your new supervisor training. You're going to complete the full checklist and then you're going to submit it to your supervisor. So every other step on this checklist is going to be the first one, obviously updating your job description. You should already have that. You'll be assigned some trainings like performance management, interviewing and training from HR that'll come through as a Paycor as well. And then you're going to have other things like this video here. You're going to have your developing your supervisor contract. You're also going to have shadowing, supervisor binder, and Spark Care for supervisors as well that you'll be completing. So the first thing I want to do is start with this handout, the leader expectations. So hopefully you already have been given a copy of this. If not, and you're not sure where to find this handout, make sure you get it from your supervisor. This is a handout that you should have hanging up in your office. It is that important. It goes through the word leader and it lays out for you the expectations for you to know what do I need to make sure that I'm following in order to be a good leader for working for the company of ViaQuest. And so the first one that we go through is the L, and the L is leadership starts with communication. So you're going to see that over and over again, that we are really big into making sure that you stay in communication with your team, with our clients, with stakeholders, with management. It's just really important. And leadership is all kinds, or the communication is all kinds of styles that you're going to see. We have emails and phone calls. We have teams. Just really important to have that communication set. And we're going to go to this again in a lot more detail. E then is our established expectations. And we'll again get into that as well. But basically, we're going to talk about how are you going to know yourself if you're doing a good job if you don't know what's expected of you, which again is one of the reasons why we have all this leader expectation and this new leader training series. But remember, in terms of your team, they need to know what's expected of them. So that's why this is just a really important expectation overall, is to make sure that we have set that for our team as well, to set them up for success. Our A, then out of the leader, is to act with integrity. And remember, integrity is how you would act even if nobody was watching you. And so we want to make sure that all of our leaders are able to live this out, that they live in a way that that we can be proud that they're a part of being a member of our ViaQuest community. The D in leader is do it the ViaQuest way. It's one of my favorites. So it's the whole culture of ViaQuest. It is making sure that we can represent the company in an honorable way. The other E then that we have is excellence is a choice. More to come that we're going to talk about that. But basically, we're trying to be the best that we can be in all that we do, including being a strong leader for our team. R then is the relationship. So that's something that we're going to again get into. But basically, I want you to make sure that how are you going to know you're being a good leader, that you've developed strong relationships with your team, with stakeholders, other people, that you're not just sitting in your office behind a desk, that you're actually developing relationships with other people. All right, now I want to get into a lot more detail about some of these different the acronyms of leader. So again, that first one was leadership starts with communication. That L, leadership starts with communication. Over communicate everything. So, and then of course, communicate some more. So if you're concerned, did I tell that person that? Just tell them again, just making sure that people feel like they have the information that they need to do their jobs. The next big point is that communication is the number one key to great leadership. That's how important it is. And when you have this communication, you want to communicate clearly and concisely. So meaning that no matter who reads it, no matter audience that you're communicating with, they can read what you just wrote and understand it. And that so it's in a manner written that particular reader is going to understand clearly and concisely. And then you're going to communicate frequently. And so, again, it's really important that you have that regular communication with your team. Last point about communication, though, is making sure you're communicating honestly. It goes back to that integrity part of it. We want to make sure we're telling the truth, that we're being impeccable with our word, that people know they can trust what's coming out of our mouth or what's coming through our email, that we're being honest about what's going on. So that's our leadership starts with the communication. Our next letter, our next part of leadership starts with communication, is, I'm trying to get ahead of myself, is that you're going to return phone calls and emails within 24 business hours. And so I want to make sure you guys know everyone's responsible to do that. And you should hold your teams accountable to do the same thing as well. The phone calls and emails from people we serve are going to have our highest priority. So we're going to make sure as we're going through our emails and going through our phone calls that we're putting priority on the people that we serve, our clients. And then you prioritize your work commitments as well. So life is busy. Make sure you're prioritizing and making sure that you're communicating with your team to get things done. In your communication, always be courteous and respectful. It should be delivered in accordance with customer service guidelines. We also want to make sure that we are using all forms of communication. I mentioned that earlier. There's lots of communication tools at our disposal, but we want to make sure that we're not just relying on one form of communication, not just Teams or not just email or not just phone calls or text messages, that we should try to make sure that we're using all forms. And then most importantly, if possible, choose face-to-face. It is really important as a default. I know a lot of people do things through Teams, and yes, that's just like face-to-face, sort of, but make it a point to actually be in the same room with people to be able to develop relationships and be able to develop your communication styles with each other. And then, like I said, choose face-to-face conversations. So, oh, one of my favorite ones. I love this depiction of it. I think many of us feel that way sometimes. So we want to make sure, yes, it's a lot of emails. We have to answer all of them. Sometimes people get like 20 to 100 emails a day, depending on what's going on. Sometimes they're copied on things. It can really feel overwhelming. So just making sure that you, take some time to devote to your emails and that you're able to read through things. So just keep an eye out for urgent messages, and then going through that way. So one of the things I want to tell you guys and help you with a little bit about is how not avoid drowning in those emails. So one of the first things you can do is filter. And so as you're using, well, let me start by saying, like, some of you guys, this is the first time you really have used this email. Maybe Microsoft, you never used this before. Get some help. Either ask your team, ask your supervisor. You can even reach out to IT. They're really happy to help you with that. Do your own Google or YouTube searches, but get some help in learning how to use that program first. And then you'll look into filtering. So chances are your email has a wide assortment of emails in it. You can get spams, newsletters, discount, things like that. I'm sure you're used to from your personal emails as well. Your work emails might soon be full of those too, depending on what you have subscribed once you get here. So with all different types and varying messages that all want to have your attention, it can be overwhelming to sort all this out. And so what you want to do is filter, making sure that you're able to do that, that you can have subheadings in your email to be able to sort it and filter it the way that you can. Then you're going to shift your perspective of emails. So one of the reasons you might be drowning in email, and it's something people really, may not think about, is you believe all email is something that should be able to squeeze around your real work. So maybe you have your schedule that back to back you're in appointments from 9 to 4, and you're just going to somehow, before the end of the day, get all your emails done. Well, you're probably not if it's not scheduled. And so that's one thing I want to really let you guys know is shifting your perspective. Email is real work. It is real part of your day, especially here at ViaQuest. We rely on emails a lot. And so if it's from your bosses, your colleagues, your customers, your vendors, the stakeholders, the facilities, the residentials that we work with, it merits your focused attention as you're going through your emails. And so it's not just a quick glance, and it's not dash off reply between meetings. A backlog of messages is just one of the consequences when you don't treat emails as real work. It's also a real risk important messages falling through the cracks. And also miscommunication can happen and damage relationships if you don't spend undivided attention on your emails and have it actually scheduled throughout your day. So that's something that I really encourage you to do, is to make sure that you are scheduling those kind of things. And since email is real work, it takes real time to actually address that productivity part of it. So the next part I wanted to go through was setting a realistic schedule. And I know you're new supervisors, and maybe this hasn't happened yet, but believe it or not, pretty soon you're going to be pretty busy, right? You were trusted with a really important role. And so there's a lot to get done, but we want to help you to be able to set a realistic schedule as you're doing that. Remember, email is real work, so it takes time to address that productivity. So on average, so when you're managing your emails as you go through and applying filters, it feel like it takes about maybe 2 minutes to process an email. And so if you're looking at, 3.5 hours a day just to manage all that work, if you're getting like 100 emails a day, and that just comes via email. Can you imagine, like, how am I going to manage all this throughout the day? So consider you're working that, same people are working, schedule several hours of meeting, and then there's no time left to be able to answer your emails, like I mentioned before. That email overload is a serious hampering the ability to get anything done. And so it's probably seeping into your personal life. So you could check emails at the dinner table, your children's school function, late at night, and during vacations. It robs you of the time that you need to rest and rejuvenate. So wake up call. If you don't do something about that and get a hold of your schedule, I don't want you to go to burnout, but that'll happen if you don't get a good handle on this. So if it's urgent, that you get real about your schedule, everything that's on your plate now. And so just thinking about, you're not magically going to be able to fix this. It's just, you might be able to, you're going to work on this because you're not just all of a sudden going to have more hours in a day. I mean, we'd all love that, right? But recognize that real work requires real time to do it and be realistic about what you can accomplish. So if you're, for example, if you are traveling to work, maybe you are going to a meeting somewhere and it's not a typical day, so you're traveling, you might not have much time that day to actually get through your emails. And so we want to make sure that you're being realistic about how you're going to be able to get through that. So then what you might want to do is that next morning, making sure that you have time scheduled into your day to be able to answer the remaining emails from when you were traveling the previous day. So what you want to do then is always look at your schedule and allow time for emails within your schedule, because you're going to have a system. And I'm not going to tell you one system is going to work, because you got to figure it out. You're all leaders. You can do this. Your supervisors can help with this as well. But you want to make sure you have a good system for managing your task. Figure out what you should be working on, and you want to make sure that you're not having Post-its everywhere or a legal pad or notes everywhere in your email. I mean, there's lots of different places where you're trying to keep track of things, and not having it all in one place, it can get overwhelming. So because many work emails might represent that you need to actually do something, it can be tempting to work from your inbox. But working this way isn't productive. You can become tethered to your email, perpetually scanning your messages for very important tasks. And I want to, that can get throughout your day. If you're in a meeting and you keep looking down because you're getting an email, that person you're just in a meeting with, you no longer have their undivided attention. And you want to make sure that you're being focused, and especially as a leader, in everything that you're doing, that it's not getting pulled away because you're looking at an email in the middle of that meeting. So that's why maybe you have a meeting and then you have a little time, maybe 30 minutes scheduled to work on emails. That's the best thing to do throughout the day, is to not schedule back without any times in between, if one of those schedule should be emails. And so you look at my schedule, you'll see every day I'm completely booked. But in the middle of some of those meetings is a meeting called email. So I actually allow myself time to be able to answer emails and to be able to act on anything that might be in that email if I needed to. So that's a big tip I want to tell you, is your schedule needs to have some email time in it, or something to do with communication, so that you're following through on a regular basis. So set a realistic schedule and manage those tasks. All right, so our next leader expectation is establish expectations. I'm a huge Toy Story fan, so my 3 boys are too. Just love it. But expectations are everywhere, Buzz is telling Woody. And isn't that true? Someone has an expectation for all of us, right? Things that they just expect that are going to get done, or that they wish are going to get done. And we want to make sure we're helping our leaders to be able to be successful and know what their expectations are of them. So the one way we can do this is we can help set clear goals and priorities for our team as well as ourselves. And they should be in writing. They should be consistent with ViaQuest goals. They should be communicated clearly. And people should be accountable. Even yourself should be accountable for what you had expected. All right, so part of establishing expectation is the performance reviews. Really important part of this. So you're going to want to make sure that you have it on your calendar when every one of your individual employees are due for their performance evaluation. So that way you can make sure that you're following that, and that you're actually giving them review and feedback about their performance. Again, set that calendar invite. Then I think it's really helpful if you have your supervisories do a self-evaluation using the choice values, their individual development plan, and leader expectations, if they're in a leader role, as their guides. And then also set goals for the year as well as review the prior year's goals. So I really think performance reviews are a big deal. And I spend a lot of time on them because I really want people to know how important their work is to me and to the company as a whole, and that I want to recognize their accomplishments, and I really want to get specific about that. And then I also want to see areas of potential growth, because I believe that we all are lifelong learners and should continue to have self growth. And as a leader, we can help empower and identify that in the people that we are, get the privilege of being able to mentor. And so the individual development plan I mentioned, hopefully you've seen this before. And if not, here you go. Everybody is expected to complete an individual development plan that's going to outline your individual goals. And so what you're going to do is you're going to figure out, what's my overarching goal, kind of like with our clients, like what's the overarching goal we want to work on? And so that can be anything. Might be, I want to learn my new position at full capacity. I want to build my team. It might be that next year at this time, I want to actually get promoted again, or I want to get my education or whatever, but whatever overarching goal you have. And then what you're going to do is you're going to complete it within 30 days of being a new manager. So many of you guys might already have this, but you're going to do a new one because now you are a leader. And so you're going to have a new individual development plan. There's also lots of Relias trainings you can take to be able to help. I like the ones assessing your own leadership performance and building a leader development plan. So if you haven't taken those already, definitely encourage you to do that. I think they're great training to help you be able to complete this. So some examples of this then. So this could be some goals that you have for the year in the next 12 years. So this person is going to improve understanding and impact the current role and support all of their managed staff, improve ownership of the region. So I like that there is incorporation of some of the choice values in there. Develop a working relationship between clinical managers, clinical supervisors, and team leads to foster trust, open communication, and confidence in the team. Number 3, meet all productivity standards for the region. 4, help improve quality of service through PBS Central clients. And 5, increase leadership skills, especially the ability to prioritize tasks. Great goals. All right. So now how are you going to get to those goals? And that's the next part, which is the actual action plans. So for this one, what they did is they numbered their goals 1 to 5, and then the corresponding 1 to 5 on the action plan. So that way it can be easily tracked. So the first one is they were going to impact their understanding of their current role, or on here it says they're going to learn, apply, and teach the ViaQuest leader expectations. Delegate appropriately, set clear expectations with new supervisors, trust supervisor, complete what is asked of them, and then review each leader. They're going to actually do the Gallup strengths and have regular team meetings. Number 3, they're going to ensure there's proactive plans for team members and their caseloads. They have 4, they were going to actually attend different trainings, and they named which trainings they were going to attend. And then they're going to complete the 7 habits training as well. So it's good. This is a great development action plan. And then what would happen for you personally, or if you are a supervisor, someone doing this, this is an easy way to go through and see throughout the year, did they do these 5 things? And if not, what's the barriers? How can we help come alongside and help someone do this? Or how can your supervisor come alongside and help you to meet these action steps? Again, establishing expectations. I really love this quote. You probably have heard me say it before, and maybe your supervisor said it before, but inspect what you expect. I huge about trusting people and empowering them, but we also work with people. So you want to make sure you don't just take your team's word for it. You've got to act on it and inspect what you expect. Normally, our team is amazing. They have integrity and honesty, but you just got to do this, right? Because we do work with human beings. We got to make sure that we are not just taking their word for it, that we're actually going along and inspecting it. Not that I'm saying you micromanage or look over everything, but you have to have a system in place where you're able to check on things to make sure people are meeting expectations that you have set. Same thing for yourself. You want to make sure your supervisor is taking the time to look through and inspect what you have set as your standards to ensure that that you are meeting your own expectations. All right, we got to act with integrity. Yes, I'm a big Office fan as well. I love Dwight, and you guys remember there's the Office is based on Jim trying to instigate Dwight, and so integrity. It's not a joke, Jim. Some of you won't get it, some of you won't, but I thought it was funny. So when you have integrity, when you act with integrity, one of the first things is insist on realism. So you don't want to kid yourself to believe that you're doing better or worse job than you really think you are. You want to try to stick to the facts, stick to the data as much as you possibly can, the actual facts to bring out the truth. And again, that goes back to that inspect what you expect. And you don't need to blame, complain, or defend because you have the real numbers in front of you. And it's really important. Like productivity is a great example of this. Well, it's not fair. I have all these reasons why I didn't make my productivity. Okay, that's fine, but it's still you didn't make your productivity. So the realism part is not meeting that standard. So there's no reason to complain or defend. It's just based on black and white facts. So on part of being a leader is having that integrity to insist on that realism, in whatever circumstance that might be necessary. Numbers don't lie. If you don't agree with the number on a report, they don't look good, you just accept the truth of the results. It happens all the time, right? All right, so don't hide, deny, or sweep mistakes under the rug. Own your mistakes, learn from them, and move on. Ownership is, to me, one of the most valuable things any leader can display. So we all are going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. Michael Bell makes mistakes. Emily makes mistakes. Rich even makes mistakes. It's part of everybody. We're all human beings. But it's our job as leaders to own them. Not hide them, deny, or sweep them under the rug. Own them. And then maybe make a plan of how maybe you're going to try to not have that happen again or what you're going to learn from it. And then move on. Huge part of being a strong leader, ownership. All right, our next letter is the D. Do it the ViaQuest way. So that ownership, we're all one team. Be on time, respectful of others. Not just for our clients, obviously. Their week, a lot of times, we are the most important part of their week. So can you imagine how disappointing it is when we don't show up or we're late and we don't take the courtesy to let them know? I mean, it's really very hurtful for them. Same thing with other meetings that you're on. Other people have just as much crazy schedule as you do. So you want to make sure you're on time. They're just respectful of other people and their time. You want to choose a reaction that creates positive outcomes. So we could all complain or get real upset about things, be negative. But what is the outcome that's going to come from that then? It's going to be negativity. Well, as a leader, we need to make sure that our reaction actually creates positive outcomes. Our responsibility is not to one single person, but the company. We're all here as members of ViaQuest company. And so it's all of our job to make sure that the culture is good at all of ViaQuest, that we are representing the company well. ViaQuest has many resources, so I'm not sure how much you've had experience with this yet since you're a new leader, but we have great things like accounting, HR, QA. There's lots of resources, so make sure you're using them. And if you're not sure how to go about using these things, ask your supervisor, because we want to make sure that you're utilizing these resources. Do it the ViaQuest way, and in the end, people we serve will benefit, Make sure that you follow through. This is one of my favorite too. Your word is your bond. You want to execute. You want to make sure that people can count on you. And I mentioned this before. For agreements is a big thing, and it talks about being impeccable with your word. Very important. Making sure people know that you're truthful and honest and you follow through. Which is do what you're going to do and do it do what you say you're going to do and do it in a timely manner. All right, so do it the ViaQuest way includes following the ViaQuest values. And again, hopefully you've all have seen these before. It would have been in our new hire training. But if not, I'm absolutely happy to remind everybody what they are because they're really important and they are our culture of our company. So we should be proud and embrace these values. So the first one is customer service. And that just means we anticipate the needs of all internal and external customers to provide solutions at the right time, the right place, and with the right attitude. H is humor. We take our work very seriously, and I know you guys do, you're hard workers, but have fun doing it. Laughter heals. O is ownership. I know I mentioned that before. Such a big value we have. Everyone does, make a difference. We all make a difference, but we're proud and passion put into what we do. That it's just huge that we can be very proud of that. Integrity. So we're genuine, we're honest about who we are. We do what we say we will do. Creativity. We are problem solvers. We always look for new ways to approach challenges and provide unique solutions. And then lastly is excellence. Do whatever it takes to provide the highest level of care to the individuals that we serve. So those are our ViaQuest values. Our next letter in the word leader is E. So here we are. Excellence is a choice. So you want to make sure that you are rewarding the doers. Rewarding people for working really hard. I know you guys have probably heard of, and I'm going to show you a little bit about online platform you can use, but either through that or emails or even just the spoken word, making sure people know that you notice that they are doing a great job. And it just, everybody loves to feel appreciated. So make sure that's part of who you are, that you're taking the time out to recognize people for doing great things. Separate personal feelings and reward the doers, and make it known why people are rewarded or recognized. They are doing what others won't do. Just make that known and make people know that you recognize that they're going out of their way, that they are providing amazing service to our clients or whatever you're noticing, making sure that you take the time to recognize the person that you're observing. And because people are doing amazing things and they deserve to be recognized. You're going to use excellence as a choice. Your team deserves recognition. And one thing as a leader to remember is that the recognition program, no matter what program we have here at ViaQuest, they don't work without your buy-in. You're now part of the leader. The leader, you have to buy into this. And here's how you do it. Hopefully you guys have all seen that people are everything, and you've already been to these sites, but this is so important. I think most of you probably got a happy birthday or anniversary card for me. That's where I sent it from. But I also want to encourage you to use the choice cards that are on here. You can actually give people points as you're going through and sending a card to say great job. You can actually give them points where they can buy things as they accumulate points. It's pretty cool on that site. So huge believer in this website. Use it every single week, several times a week actually. And I just really think it's awesome that our company provides this tool for us. Relationships. So that's the last of the leader acronym is relationships. So you're going to know your people and your business, roll up your sleeves like that picture says, and understand and analyze and improve metrics, and then build a foolproof processes. So I want you to think in terms of when I was talked about the analyzing, improving metrics, even like processes and stuff. why is that it's important is it actually helps your relationships. Because if we know what's expected of us and can try to improve and simplify our everyday job, it gives us more time to actually build a personal relationship with the person that we're serving and working alongside or mentoring or whatever that relationship is. That's a big part of what we do. And most of us that are in our industry, right, we're in mental health, that or the social service industry, we like that part of our job. We went into this field because we like relationships. So remember that about the people that you're supervising, that they probably like that. They probably like that you reach out to them. And so making sure that you take the time to do that, that you're helping to be able to get to know them and know about what's going on in their life. So healthcare is a relationship business. It's not just a relationship with the employees, it's also with the people we serve and their families. And then also a relationship with our referral sources, with our payers, with like all the different insurance companies, with government agencies, our ViaQuest partners, all these different relationships. You want to try to understand the dynamics in these relationships. Anticipate your decisions, how your decisions now as a leader might affect them. And it's a major aspect then of knowing your people and your business. So trying to put yourself in their shoes as you're having communication with them to see how might this person take this, and helping to build up positive relationship. So why is maintaining good employee relationships important? So important for many reasons, but this graphic lays it out. Greater employee satisfaction, increased loyalty, increased motivation, reduced workplace conflict, trust and confidence among employees, and a better workplace culture. So lots of reasons why relationships are important. It takes some time though, and it takes so as you're going through your schedule earlier in this meeting, I mentioned you're going to want to put in there some time that you're going to actually send out e-cards, or that I know you're going to have your regular supervision, but you may also want to have, these are the days I'm going to reach out and make sure that I'm recognizing people for doing work above and beyond. It's a part of your schedule that you're going to make sure you're including is building relationships. So you're going to help your team to be successful while you're having relationships with them by understanding their professional and personal goals and help them achieve these goals. That's where that individual development planning from earlier comes into. If you know someone really wanted to learn something and they put on there that one of the things they were going to do is take a certain Reliance class, or they were going to practice a skill. A great way to live this out in relationships is to ask them, hey, how's that going? Tell me a little bit about what that experience was like, or what can I do to help you achieve that? That's a great way to build that relationship. And know what motivates them. So, not everybody's motivated by money. I know we have a great bonus program, but there might be some other things that motivates them. Maybe it's that sending an e-card with them means tremendous amount. And so learning that might be something important. It might be that you're actually seeing them in person for supervision, that's a great motivator for them. Everybody's different. So getting to know an individual team member and what motivates them the best. Also understanding what communication style they respond to the best. Some people love to be able to talk, right? And that's how they are able to really have a great relationship, is talking. Other people absolutely really love to be able to have nonverbals, where it's more about just kind of that proximity, spending time together. Like I mentioned, some people really like that face-to-face, and that's a really important thing for them. Other people, email is it. That is how they thrive. They love being able to put stuff in written word, and that's the best way for communication. None of these are wrong. None of them are better than the others. So just making sure that you understand for your particular team and the person that you are now in charge of supervising, that you know what communication style works for them. Again, not for you, but what works for them. And then get to know your people personally and take an interest in their lives. So if somebody just had a baby, or they're getting ready to get married, or maybe they're going to college, or they have a family member that's in the military, know these things and ask them about that stuff. It's really important that they know that not just their work is the only thing that you find valuable about them or that you care about, that you're actually trying to get them to know them personally too. Because honestly, we spend more time at work than we do in our families, right? So we really do want to build that relationship and have an interest in their lives. All right. Believe it or not, last slide of this training, follow-ups and questions for them. So the first thing you're going to do is complete the quiz. So once you're done with this video, it should be up there on Paycor for you to be able to complete. Then you're going to review the leadership expectations. Remember, that was a handout that hopefully your supervisor had for you. You're going to complete the whole leadership training series that should be assigned to you in Paycor. You're going to complete your individual development plan and supervision contract. You're going to meet with your direct supervisor, ask questions, and ensure all training are complete. And last step, and a really important one, is you're going to all send me an individual email. And you have my email listed there, but I want to hear from you. I want you to send me an introduction. Let me know what position you're currently in, any questions you have, any feedback you might have about this training. But I just really want to get to know you. And so please send me that introduction email. And that is our training. So I appreciate you spending that time with me. And I know this was a lot. And now you're going to go through the next training for the rest of the leadership series. But again, congratulations. And I'm excited to have you part of our leadership team. And I look forward to learning more about you guys and spending more time in the future. Thank you.